Let's welcome in Andy Swann. He is the author of this book, The Human Workplace, People-Centered Organizational Development. This book is about how the workplace needs to recognize the changes in how we communicate, think, and collaborate to move forward in the future. So good morning, Andy. Nice to have you with us.
Hey, Linda. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Andy, you did a lot of research for this book. What is the biggest change, would you say, in today's workplace?
Absolutely. The human workplace is based on my own experiences in Fortune 50 companies, some of the biggest and most complex organizations in the world. And the realization is that actually they sound big and they sound complex, but they're doing some amazing things that connect people and allow people to take responsibility for doing great things in the organization, because the realization is starting to come through that when people thrive, the company thrives too. And if the company thrives, that's where profit and shareholder value and all of these traditional measures of success come from.
I can see where a lot of proactive companies are embracing this, but there are a lot of businesses reluctant to change. Why do you think that is?
You know what, I mean, change is hard anyway. It's part of the human condition. We're creatures of habit. So it takes a lot to shift our thinking anyway. But I think there's also this kind of misguided opinion that if you're going to make real change in your organization, you have to tear it down. You have to restructure management. You have to do all of this different stuff. But actually, the human workplace is based on the idea that there's a very simple toolkit that you can start gradually bringing some people-first ideas into your organization, allow people freedom to act, the ability to collaborate, bring in some creativity, design thinking for innovation. Just make yourself more progressive gradually as part of the shifting world that we live in.
I think it's going to be very exciting for this next generation of workers. So what kind of business or business people would you say are most receptive to this kind of change that you are talking about?
That's a really interesting question. So one of the things I wanted to do with the human workplace was show that, yes, there are these cool startups and these young teams of 3 to 5 people wearing hoodies and changing the world in garages, but actually, and there's the co-working spaces, but actually even within the biggest organizations in the world, there is cool stuff happening. I spoke to Schneider Electric, Microsoft, CGI, Lego, all of these companies, and there's great stuff happening, but you just don't necessarily hear about it in the media. So I think the message is that any organization can do it, and most are to some extent. It's just not necessarily, shouted about as the #1 priority for the organization. It's just a picture of the working environment.
Yes, I can see that, even right down to a company with just a few employees. What would you say, Andy, is the most important lesson you hope people will take away from this book?
Whoever you are, whatever your position in the company, whether you're the organization itself, get out there, allow people to thrive, because when people thrive, the organization thrives too. And whoever you are, you can take responsibility for making your work or your workplace better.
Yeah, and I wanted to let people know that business owners will also get suggestions on making your human workplace real.